The nightmare hit me like a punch to the gut. Margaret Voss, the HOA president of Meadowview Estates, had used her master key to shove two hulking pickup trucks into my dad's garage, crushing his vintage Corvette and blocking his woodworking haven. Her excuse? She was just using the space for a bit. The nerve of that woman. By the end of it, we'd torn her authority to shreds in front of the whole neighborhood, but not without a fight that left us all shaken. Let me take you back to the start. It was a crisp October morning in 2024 in our quiet little corner of Willow Creek, Oregon. I'm Ethan, by the way. My wife, Sarah, and I moved here 5 years ago, chasing that suburban dream: green lawns, friendly neighbors, a place to raise the kids we're still planning for. My dad, Tom, joined us 2 years back after Mom passed. He built a small apartment above our garage, a perfect setup for his independence. That garage was his sanctuary. Half of it a workshop where he crafted furniture for local charities, the other half a shrine to his 1965 Corvette, a car he'd restored with his own hands, every bolt a memory of his younger days with Mom. The trouble started when I got a call from Dad. His voice was low, shaky, not the steady tone of the man who'd built his life from scratch. "Ethan," he whispered, and my stomach dropped. Sarah saw my face, grabbed the car keys, and we were peeling out of the driveway in seconds, speeding through Willow Creek's tidy streets. When we pulled up, Dad's garage door was open, revealing two massive trucks jammed inside, their chrome gleaming like a predator's teeth. Behind them, Dad's Corvette was pinned against the wall, its cherry red paint scratched. The door to his workshop was blocked. This wasn't parking, it was sabotage. Who did this? I growled, my temper flaring. Sarah's hand on my arm was the only thing keeping me from exploding. Dad's eyes met mine, heavy with exhaustion. "Her," he said, spitting the word like poison. "Margaret Voss. Of course. The self-proclaimed queen of Meadowview Estates, a woman who'd turned our peaceful neighborhood into her personal fiefdom. Margaret had moved here a decade ago, bitter from a divorce and armed with a superiority complex. She'd taken over the HOA like a dictator, rewriting bylaws to control everything from mailbox heights to the shade of your front door. Dad, with his stubborn independence, was her favorite target. He ignored her petty fines, her noise complaints about his workshop, her accusations of unapproved activities. This was her escalating the war. Dad explained how Margaret had used her HOA key to let herself in, parked the trucks, and locked up. "I found it when I went to get the paper," he said, his voice trembling. Slammed the door shut and called the cops. Right on cue, a police cruiser pulled up. Officer Lopez stepped out, her calm demeanor cutting through the tension. She surveyed the scene, Dad fuming, me ready to pop a tire, the trucks like invaders in our space. "Morning, Tom," she said dryly. "Trouble seems to find you." Dad just grunted. Before he could finish explaining, a silver BMW screeched to a halt. Out stormed Margaret, her blonde hair sprayed into submission, her designer suit screaming money. "What is the meaning of this?" she shrieked, jabbing a manicured finger at the garage. "You're detaining my property. Officer, arrest him." Lopez sighed, clearly not her first rodeo with Margaret. "Ma'am, calm down," she said. But Margaret was already punching numbers into the garage keypad, trying to break in right in front of us. The audacity was staggering. The neighborhood woke up. Doors opened, phones came out, and a crowd gathered. Our neighbor, Carl, a retired guy who watched the street like a hawk, shuffled out in his bathrobe, shaking his head. Margaret's tantrum was now a public show. The keypad rejected her code. Dad had changed it months ago, and she started pounding the door with her fists. "Enough," Lopez snapped, pulling her back. "You're on his property, admitting to trespassing." Margaret sputtered, inventing a rule about collateral for fines. The crowd murmured. Lopez handed her a trespassing ticket, which she crumpled in a rage before speeding off, leaving her trucks behind. The next day, the retaliation began. A crisp HOA envelope arrived, containing 5 violation notices for Dad, $1, $7.50 in fines for things like improper vehicle storage, her trucks, and public nuisance, her meltdown. That night, at 2:13 a.m., sirens tore through the silence. 2 cop cars lit up our house, officers claiming a 911 call about a chainsaw and screams. It was a lie, a vicious attempt to scare Dad. They searched his apartment, found nothing, and left with apologies. But the message was clear. Margaret could invade our lives at will. Then came her email to every resident, a venomous screed about a rogue element, threatening Meadowview's safety, clearly targeting Dad without naming him. It was too much. Dad looked broken, staring at the trucks blocking his workshop. "She wins," he said, voice hollow. "Maybe I should sell the Corvette." My heart shattered. No way was I letting her destroy him. Sarah suggested a new approach: find a crack in Margaret's armor. The HOA board was her fortress. Her loyalists, Greg and Ellen, were untouchable, but the treasurer, Amy Chun, was a nervous shadow who might know something. Carl, our gossip guru, told us Amy volunteered at the local animal shelter. "She's scared of Margaret," he said, "but she's got a spark. Saved the shelter once." Sarah went to the shelter, posing as a volunteer, but Amy froze at the mention of the HOA, terrified of Margaret's wrath. We thought we'd failed until a manila envelope appeared on our doorstep that night. Inside was a USB drive and a note in shaky handwriting. "She ruined my life, too." It was Amy. The drive held 7 years of HOA financials, revealing monthly payments to Voss Consulting, Margaret's shell company, totaling $92,000. She'd been skimming our money for years. This was our weapon. My first instinct was to call Lopez, but Sarah and Dad stopped me. "Arresting her's not enough," Dad said. "She's humiliated everyone here. We need to expose her publicly. Let the neighborhood take her down." Margaret had called an emergency HOA meeting to smear Dad. Perfect. We'd use her stage against her. I offered to run the projector, playing the helpful neighbor. Margaret, smug as ever, agreed. The meeting was packed, the room buzzing with tension. Margaret launched into her speech, painting Dad as a menace. Then she handed me her USB drive. With a sleight of hand, I swapped it for ours. When she clicked her remote, the screen lit up with bank statements, not her lies. Payments to Voss Consulting glowed 10 feet high. The crowd gasped. Margaret's face went white. She stammered, "Technical error," but I kept clicking corporate filings, transaction histories, $92,000 stolen. The room erupted. Carl called for a vote of no confidence. It was unanimous. Margaret was ousted, storming out as the crowd jeered. We celebrated pizza, champagne. Dad smiled back for the first time in months. But the next morning, Amy called, sobbing. The HOA account's empty. $160,000 gone. She wired it out yesterday. Our victory was a sham. Margaret had used our stunt as cover to steal the community's savings. She'd known we were coming, probably since Amy clammed up at the shelter. We played right into her hands. Guilt crushed me. My plan had cost everyone. Dad's joy faded as I told him. "She got the last laugh," he said. No, she wouldn't. I turned to my IT skills, hunting her digital trail. A cousin's social media post about an Arizona cabin. Carl's memory of Margaret mentioning a divorce settlement property. It led to a remote lot 200 miles away. I drove there alone, ignoring Sarah's warnings. The cabin was real, and so was Margaret's BMW, half hidden under a tarp. Through a window, I saw her packing cash and documents with Dad's name forged to frame him. My rage took over. I kicked the door in. "It's over," I said. She offered a deal, but Lopez and deputies arrived, cuffs ready. The money was recovered. Back home, Amy became HOA president, shredding Margaret's rules. Dad's Corvette roared again, and Meadowview felt alive. That night, Sarah, Dad, and I sat on the porch, the quiet sweeter than ever. But here's where it gets messy. Was I right to confront Margaret alone, risking everything? Should we have gone to the police first, avoiding her escape? Did our public stunt make us heroes or fools? And what about Amy? Did she betray us by not speaking up sooner? Or was her secret USB the real victory? Drop your thoughts below. Did we go too far, or not far enough? Like, comment, and subscribe for more stories that'll keep you up at night.